What's up, everyone? Today we are checking out the Marshall DSL40cr. Hey folks, welcome to the channel and thank you for tuning in to this demo and review of the Marshall DSL40cr. Now, I know that this one is in a unique limited edition cosmetic Tolex. However, this is the same model as the regular Marshall DSL40cr. It just cosmetically looks different. This was a limited edition one that Guitar Center ran, and I did actually not only check the specs myself, but I actually reached out and spoke to someone at Guitar Center who confirmed. Now, before we dive in, hey, if you like that song, you know, I like that song too. I might be biased because I wrote that song. You can check out that song at the link. And also, if you're interested in supporting the channel, do a combination of things. First of all, if you send me a tip of $7 or more, I'm going to give you access to a website where you can download all of my music, including jam tracks like the one that I was playing to at the beginning. And that's good for all my music, past, present, and future. So you'll always have access to that website for anything that I release in the future. Also, if you're interested in any of the gear in this video, do your shopping through the links below. Affiliate links, if you do your shopping through those links, I get commission off of anything that you buy. No additional cost to you. All right, now let's dive in here with the CR. So I actually have a lot of experience with the Marshall DSL line in general, believe it or not. I gigged for a number of years with the DSL40, the one that preceded this model. And I've also owned not only the JCM 2000, which was the dual super lead, the kind of precursor to this. Not only have I owned that in head form, but I also briefly owned the DSL, I think it was the 401. It was the combo that was the JCM 2000 combo, basically. And those were the models that kind of led to these this current range of models. And this one really punches above its weight. I'm very impressed with this. It's not perfect, but it's a great amp and it's a real bang for the buck. So I'm very, very impressed. I do want to start off also say this is not a sponsored review. This is one that I got through trade. So I'm just kind of sharing my experience with this one and the others that I've had. What really is cool about this one is the wild range of control that you have over it. You've got two channels and each channel has two modes. So you've got your classic channel, which gives you a clean and a crunch, and then you've got your overdrive channel, which gives you an overdrive 1 and overdrive 2. You have a global 3-band EQ with a tone shift and a resonance knob. You have separate reverbs for each channel and 2 different master volumes. Now this comes with a 2-button foot switch, but what's really cool is this also will function with the larger 6-button foot switch. So you can get some serious programmability. I'm going to roll with that word, programmability with this amplifier. So if you're someone who likes a lot of different levels of tone, but still relatively easy to dial in, this amp gives you a lot of options. Now, what's really notable for me, having owned the DSL40 to this one, I think the voicing of the channels are generally better, and I think the speaker is better. So The classic channel sounds very, very similar to me to the original DSL40. You've got a really nice clean that takes pedals like a champ. It just sounds great with pedals. And in the crunch mode, it sort of evokes almost like that classic Marshall super bass kind of sound. Really great for an edge of breakup tone or a great classic kind of crunchy rhythm. And again, it sounds amazing if you boost that with a pedal too, which we're going to do in the next part of the video. I'm going to hit it with both a Boss Super Overdrive and a Mojo Hand crosstown fuzz, so you can hear it both with overdrive and with fuzz, obviously for some classic tones. What really impressed me is the overdrive channel sounds a lot better. I think even better than the old JCM 2000. I know that that's boasting a lot because the JCM 2000 was a really, really beloved amp for a lot of people. The thing about that one was the overdrive channel sounded good, but it could sound fizzy at lower volumes. This one sounds really good at a lot of different volumes. Now this one also has low and high power right on the standby switch. And it has an emulated line out. So again, you know, talking about tons of control, just loads of different ways you can set this up and get a lot of different tones at different volumes that all sound really good. Even on the last DSL40, the overdrive channel really didn't impress me. I thought it was generally too grainy sounding. It was too grainy, too gritty, too edgy. Now, there are probably a lot of harder rock, you know, punk or whatever kind of genres, you know, edgier genres that tone could have suited. I think this one still has that really hard edge to it if you want it, but it can also smooth out to suit more of the classic sounds or even getting into 80s rock territory. So that to me is a big selling feature of this one, is that now you have a couple of channels that are really good. See, when I ran my DSL40, I never used the overdrive channel. I used to just play the clean channel and boost it with pedals. This one I could just take this amp out and use either channel. In fact, even the overdrive channel with the gain dialed back, which is a lot of what I'm doing in this video, really nice levels of drive that could suit any sort of classic rock or blues kind of setting and not sound over the top and sound nice and smooth and rich. Now I mentioned the speaker. The speaker in this is a Celestion V-type. Now I'm gonna say that it's kind of neutral. I'll tell you why. It's definitely a step up from the last speaker. The old DSL40 came with a Celestion 7080, which I am not a fan of at all. I love Celestion speakers, but that one I just did not gel with. I found it way too brittle and edgy, and it just did not suit the DSL40 at all. The V-Type is a massive step up from the 7080, I think. I think it sounds sweeter. I think it has a better range. That being said, I think this amp could sound like $1 million if you put in a higher end speaker. You know, the V-Type is a respectable speaker, but it's certainly not kind of top of the line. I think if you're someone who's willing to experiment with some different speakers, you know, if you were to throw a Creamback in this or something else, I think it could really kick this amp up to the next level as far as tonality and usability. The only two other things I wasn't crazy about, it's a little heavier than I'd like. It weighs just over 50 pounds. Now, it's not terrible, but I think nowadays, particularly when a lot of guitar players are looking for something this size, something kind of like a basic club roadworthy amplifier to get out there, they're probably going to be looking for something a little bit lighter. It's not like a backbreaker, certainly, but it was just a little heavier than I would have liked. The only other thing, and actually I always watch reviews of gear that I'm about to review just to see what other people have said, and Shane on In the Blues had the same feedback that I did, which was also true of the other DSL40. The reverb is very weak. It's not a bad sounding reverb, there's just not much of it. In fact, some of the clean parts, I'm going to be having the reverb all the way up, and you'll hear, it doesn't sound bad, there's just not a lot of it. I wish there was a little bit more reverb to play with. It is cool that you can set the reverb different for each channel. You know, you can have one level of reverb for your classic channel and one level of reverb for your overdrive channel. But again, there's just not a huge level on tap to go with. Those are really the only things about this amp that I'm not crazy about. You know, if you threw a nicer speaker in this and then you got the 6-button foot switch, because it comes with a 2-button foot switch for channel switching and reverb. If you were to get a new speaker and the 6-button foot switch, I mean, this could be a seriously formidable amp to use in some really high-end situations. I mean, I would have no qualms taking this amp and doing some big gigs with it. It really sounds that good. I'm very impressed. And again, at the price, I mean, this amp costs less than the Fender Blues Jr. I think it's an absolute steal for what it is and for what the guitar amp market is nowadays. I wouldn't be surprised to see other amps of this caliber well over $1,000. And again, also just a lot of great classic Marshall tone that you can coax out of it. So today I am playing a Fender Stratocaster and a Gibson Les Paul. They're both loaded with Porter pickups. The Stratocaster has classic 60s pickups in it, and the Les Paul has an Anthem Plus PAF set in it. And again, as I mentioned, we're going to play a number of different tones on each of the channels and each of the modes. I'm also going to show you a clip playing the same riff on both high power and low power mode, so you can hear how it's dynamically a little different, not just in volume, a slight bit of difference. Show you the reverb, and with the Stratocaster, I'm going to hit it with some pedals. Please let us know what you think of this amplifier. I'm Jack Fossett. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Stick around for some more tone, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the video.